All right, we are live. Hey, welcome, Centerline Systems. This is going to be an awesome live stream tonight. So whoever you are, wherever you are, whomever you are, wherever you are in this big blue marble of an awesome planet we call Earth, Centerline Systems. All right, we're going to be jumping into things pretty quickly. This is going to be a little bit all over the place live stream. So just to give you a quick heads up, I've got Murphy on. We're going to be doing a giveaway, and then we're also going to be announcing another charity auction that Murph and I are going to be working together on. And then I got Tom and Brian from Readiness Training Group. They should be on here in a couple minutes because they start the school resource officer training tomorrow. They're actually picking up one of the families that is flying in and have dinner with them. And then there they are right now. So, hey, so everybody just strap in. I'm going to bring on our guests, and we're just going to jump right into it. And then I'll get over to comments. So here we've got Brian, Tom, and Sam. And then I'm going to add Murph to the stage as well. Hey, you guys, there's so many jokes I could make here. Good thing that's hands-free, fellas. All right. Hey, so why don't we just come right over to you guys over at Readiness Training Group. Thanks for taking the time. I know you guys got a really busy night. Why don't you tell everybody what's going on in regards to that school resource officer training that you guys are kicking off tomorrow?
Yeah, thanks for having us on again, Mark. We really appreciate it, and all your support for the workshop. Right now, we are on our way to meet with our special guest. I know I've said it before on the podcast. We were going to have a special guest at the SRO workshop. So we are meeting with Gloria and her husband. They are extremely important to this year's workshop. They're going to speak to the officers before the day of training. In the Uvalde school shooting, Gloria lost her 9-year-old daughter, Jackie. And so we are going to have Gloria and her husband speak to the officers about, the potential consequences of, not knowing how to do your job.
And this is where all the money that we've been raising and through Centerline Systems and all the other great, outstanding sponsors and donors, this is what it's being utilized for running the program tomorrow at no cost to the officers, and to be able to bring them from Texas to New Jersey to be able to speak.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, and what a great, I know you guys were keeping that close to your chest on who the guest speaker was, but I mean, the moment you just said that, I mean, that's going to be powerful. I hope that resonates with people the way, I would interpret it and how I would feel about it.
Yeah, our reactions that we've given to our sponsors, of course, we've told our sponsors what our plan was, and the reaction from all the sponsors has been so positive and kind of the same amongst everybody, that everybody feels it's going to have an incredible impact on the officers that are coming to train. And that's exactly what we're looking to do. We're looking to, change a couple of mindsets and get the guys to realize, how important their jobs are and how important it is that they train and know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Hey, I do have your website. I won't waste your guys' time and pull it up right now. I'll pull it up once you guys bail. But hey, Brian, are the t-shirts still available? Or those another way that people can donate just by buying a t-shirt?
There is absolutely still a way you can donate. If you go to the website, to the SRO workshop page, there is a donate button. Which I think we're going to leave open year round, just so that if people hear about our story and hear about our mission at any point, they can donate. And I just talked to Ryan earlier. We might try to open the shirts up tomorrow so that not only can we, sell shirts, obviously, and receive donations through the podcast, but also for the officers that are attending. So Ryan's going to get on that and see if we can get with the t-shirt company and open that store back up so that we can, sell some more shirts. And
these are the t-shirts here. I brought one with me.
Oh, nice, Tom.
Yeah. Tom was trying to blind you. He was about to throw that over your head, Brian, and see how you would react. But yeah, there's the shirts right there. So those are awesome. Okay.
That's it.
All right. Well, I'll bring up your guys' page, and people can see that, and, they can either just go make a donation or when the shirts come back up for sale, that'd be awesome. And then I'll be pinging you guys, I know you'll have a busy weekend, you got all the training, but, again, the top 3 shooters, Tom's got all the info. Brian, I think he's probably passing on to you. And then, so, in next week's podcast, I'll give you guys another plug there because I should have the belts ready for the 3 shooters and and then we'll just, once again, bring up your guys' website and what you're doing. And then honestly, if you guys don't mind, after it's all over, when whoever reaches out to me regarding those, first, second, and third, well, because they can order that from my website, even though the website's shut down, the belts are open. So, it's really 6 of one, half dozen the other. If you want to give me all their info, or if they just want to order it, I mean, there is that code. Tom already knows it. But once you guys let me know, I'd also would like to just a little bit of feedback on how the training weekend went.
Absolutely. We'll reach out to you either way.
Okay. Appreciate it. You guys have a great night. Enjoy. That just sounds so awesome. What a just really cool, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank
Awesome.
you, Mark.
Thank you.
All right. Have good. Sam, good job on the camera. Sam, thank you.
She is. Thanks, Mark.
All right. See you guys. Take care. Thanks now.
See you, bud.
All right. There we go, boys and girls. So that was, the cast of characters from Readiness Training Group. They're starting their school resource officer workshop tomorrow. That's free training that they're providing to school resource officers. We did the rucksack, that charity auction, help raise some money for them so they could, have the food there so people didn't have to leave the facility. They got those shirts here. Actually, I'll just do this right now. I bet I can do it. Give me a second. I'll share a screen. Window. Oh, I guess I'm doing this wrong. Why is that tab not in there? Oh, there it is. Hang on. Here we go. Sorry, boys and girls. Here, I'll just share this real quickly. That's the shirt. That's the back side of the shirt you just saw. Here is their website. I'll just go, workshop, contact, training, mission. And then they've got their, on their page, you can see it. It's readinnesstraininggroup.com, readinnesstraininggroup.com. And, they got a whole bunch of their write-ups, and you'll find where you can make a donation and all that kind of stuff and contact them. So really awesome guys and gals for what they're doing, what they're putting together for that. So just wanted to give that a quick shout out one more time because it's kicking off tomorrow. And now let's bring on Murphy because Murphy, I don't know. Do we want to talk about the charity thing that we guys doing or what? Do we want to do that or we want to hold off? Let's hold off.
You want to start off with that? Okay. Yeah.
Let's hold off. Let me actually just read some comments here real quickly because there's one or two of them that I do want to respond to. So VTech Moonwalker, did you read something wrong? I think so. I saw you leave a comment on Insta. No. So that was for Millstone, not for Centerline Systems. So that's our other company that myself and Blake from Fog Firearms are contemplating starting. Millstone SRG, and the SRG is for Self-Reliance Group. So that's Millstone SRG. I put that information in there. Yeah. So you probably just missed that. Those that's a completely different set of classes, live streaming, different content, and that's over at Millstone. So we're on Rumble, ScrewTube, Twitter, Instagram. That's where you can find us. Sorry about that. Yeah, but it was there Wednesday. Although it's kind of funny you said that because a lot of I got a bunch of people saying they didn't get a single notification for it. So what am I, amazing, right? Snowshoes checking in. Mike in the Woods, dude, checking in. Hey, Mike, thank you. Big Vis Cowdy. Are you guys getting the live stream? Well, I hope so, Saline, because you're here leaving a comment. So I don't know if that means you're just not seeing us and only hearing us. But again, nothing surprises me anymore. No one's getting notifications, Millstone. Well, here, every time we do a charity or try to do something nice, that's when most social media doesn't like that, right? And they hide it. Mike in the Woods, yep, he's getting it. Okay, there. I guess I'm catching up. You guys already got it. And then VTech, I gotcha. Yeah, that was just probably maybe a slight miscommunication or misunderstanding. Yeah, that was over on Millstone. You can still go check it out. It was a great conversation. Kevin Estella, we sat and talked for almost 2 hours, and the truth is, and we just covered 4 subjects, and we were kind of even rushing through that. And then learn me something. Sorry, I'm late and I missed RTG. Well, go back and watch it. Those guys, good guys. But yeah, thanks for being here. Learn me something. All right, Murph, let's come over to you. where do we want to start, my good man? We've got our list. Where do we want to just jump right in? You
Hey,
know,
but okay, maybe we want to go into foot gear or foot care, because I barely caught. I think I told you yesterday. Unfortunately I was going to watch it today, but I have one of those damn job things that gets in the way of everything, and it kept me from watching what I wanted to watch from yesterday. Kevin's a good dude. I know him. Not like hardcore drinking buddies or anything, but I know him. And you guys talked on foot care, and I was thinking about was like, man, are they going to mention socks? And he did mention socks. He didn't talk about the company that had like $20 pair of socks or whatever. But I started thinking something that I really got into probably in the last year or two. A lady friend of mine kind of pointed me in the direction of Injinjis. Are you aware of those?
Kind of, but that could also sound like another brand that I have a bunch of. So I'm not sure if
they're the toe socks.
Yeah. So
yeah.
No. So I know that I've never worn the toe socks, but those are kind of like Tobby socks, but all.
I don't know what that is.
Tobby sock would have been more like the split, but this is
kind of like the mitten style that they use, the military Arctic mittens, but for your feet. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but in your case though, let's see, I just did Spock, but this is
whoa, what you flexing there?
Live long and prosper, Murph.
Yeah.
Live long and prosper.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can do something that means the other thing, but it's not that. Yeah, but no, those Injinjis are amazing. I looked at. I remember girls wearing those in high school, and I thought they were like a kitschy little silly thing that they all wore to look cool or different on their sandals or whatever. And I was wrong. I started wearing them just in the last 2 years for rucking, for trail running, and they're amazing. I never get blisters. You never get the chafing. I mean, they're amazing.
So we're going to go. So with Kevin, it was food, fire, water, shelter. And, socks just came in, but on Sunday. So VTech, if you're still with us on Sunday, which will be the final episode. Well, the final part of the class portion of what we're doing, that's going to be shoot, move, communicate, and medicate. So on the move side, Murph, that's where we're going to be, probably spending, because that's just, to me, that's something that is so overrated. And that's what Kevin was pointing out too. People don't talk about their foot maintenance, field hygiene. So that we'll be definitely covering that in greater detail on Sunday.
So it's underrated, right?
Oh yeah, totally underrated.
Or at least underrepresented. Yeah. I agree. I know we were taught in the infantry that you absolutely take care of your feet no matter what. And to the point where I think, like Kevin said, and I think you echoed it, I've always got extra socks, man. If I'm going out even on a 2-mile quick ruck, just something out to get my heart up, I'm throwing extra socks in that ruck. There's a pair that stays in there in a dry bag, and they're usually wool, and sometimes they're those Injinji things. And I've changed them out in the middle of a half marathon. I've changed them out. You just got to keep your feet clean and happy, right?
Well, here, let's just do a little bit of that so people can kind of maybe get a taste of what we're going to do on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, again, shoot, move, communicate, medicate. So that's Millstone. It's Millstone-SRG. The SRG is for Self-Reliance Group. So VTech Moonwalker, if you can catch it. But on the footwear and the boot side of it. And, Murph, and just to this, I mean, not to kind of already just start shitting on social media, but it's interesting to me. So when I was starting to get back into rucking, my back, my hips, I'm finally able to start exercising for the first time in literally years. And so, of course, what did you think I started off doing? I started off rucking, right? Just with my new ruck, nothing too crazy, but because it's, just low, it's not as, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not as high impact,
it's lower impact. Yeah.
It's a good place to start. You can still get your heart rate up and get a sweat going. And then I did another one as I was getting ready to go out. So I'm wearing boots that I haven't worn in years. And my insteps were already, were just, even after just a couple of weeks of walking, they were already peeling. So I did like 3 videos, either promoting Readiness Training Group and the charity auction, while I had a ruck on, or I did that video talking about, how to, take care of your insoles and take care of your boots. And it's amazing to me. Like, I got a bunch of hate out of that. Like those videos, like
Why?
The one where I was talking about foot maintenance, and it's maybe because I mentioned weapons. I said, just like weapons maintenance and vehicle maintenance, you got to do foot maintenance. Man, it was like almost 30% downvote hatred, and when I do the ones where I'm walking, and look, I'm not trying to be, what's that guy's name? Groggins or whatever,
Oh, Goggins, yeah.
Goggins. Look, no one wants to see me. I'm old and fat right now. And, I'm only one of 3 colors, white, red, or peeling, I don't tan very well.
I get you.
So, yeah. And I don't know what it was, but I made all of those videos got hate. So there's either something in the algorithm, or there's just clowns who just, they see somebody doing something to improve themselves, they just get all pissed off. And I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Because it was just amazing.
We've talked about this, I know, but I don't know that we've talked about it. Maybe we talked about it in the last episode. I don't remember. But yeah, I agree. There's always somebody out there that's hating. Instead of not saying you need to go out there and purposely lift each other up, but it's like, dude, people are trying to get you out there to get you motivated, or somebody motivated. It doesn't have to be you. If it doesn't affect you, cool, move on. Maybe they're out there trying to reach. Look, I'm not the biggest Goggins fan, but his message does seem to resonate with a lot of people, and it gets them up off the couch and doing more than they were doing before they started watching his stuff most of the time. So I can't do anything but applaud that. I don't care for his delivery, because it just feels like false motivation to me. But if it motivates somebody, then honestly, it's motivation. It works. Go for it. I can't tell somebody what's going to work for them. And again, no matter what speed you're going, you're lapping the guy on the couch.
Exactly. Well, and to my point, I wasn't trying to do it to be, hey, look at me, like I can show pictures of what I was, when I was in the prime of my life, and I was in incredible physical condition. Well, that's not me right now. It's been almost 5 years of physical inactivity because of injuries and stuff. So, you do the math, right? You're older and you're not working out, that's just going to be inevitable. You're going to be putting on weight. So, but I don't like that. So I'm just trying to get it off. But again, the purpose of the videos wasn't the look at me. It was like, hey, we've got a new rucksack and I'm out rucking it right now. I like it. Or, hey, this is what we're giving away for the charity auction for Readiness Training Group. And here's what those guys are doing, which is a great cause. Or, hey, here's just a small little thing that you can't have this in your boots because this is what's going to cause blisters, so kind of ending it there to tie it back into foot care. But it just was amazing to me how many people were like, if you don't like it, then don't watch it. But who takes the time to go out and like, oh my God, you're trying to actually improve yourself or do something nice. So therefore I'm going to give you a thumbs down. I don't know what the fuck is going on in our world.
There's always naysayers. There's always somebody shitting on you from their tower. There's always something going on. And like you can't make everybody happy type thing. Look, the military, nobody was ever happy, but we all did what we had to do to move forward. Then you got the internet. Everybody should be happy. You've got, the Library of Alexandria times 1,000,000 at your fingertips, and people still just use it to shit on people. I don't know why, but honestly, I just think with the foot care thing, I appreciate that video. I don't know if I told you that. I really do, because it reminded me at the time, I have a pair of Go-Ruck boots that on the inside of them, there was, I don't know, some kind of stuff with the insole thing going on. And I'd ignored them. Every time I'd put them on, the heel would fold over a little bit, just a little bit. It wasn't crazy. And, it just kept getting worse over time. And when I watched your video, I just kind of gave it a like the first time. And then you had mentioned it somewhere. And I go, damn, I need to go back and look at that. I went back and looked at it. I go, yeah, I need to trim that. And I took it out real quick, trimmed it. And my daughter is watching me. She's like, what are you doing? I said, taking care of my feet. And she was like, oh, maybe I need to do that. And she looked at her stuff. Her stuff was good. But I was like, man, I'm glad I watched that video, because it did. And it's caused me, it kept me from getting blisters. So I don't know that it caused me not to get them, but it definitely has kept me from having them so far.
Well, so, again, whether people, and by the way, I'm going to keep doing more of those. I've got something.
Yeah, please do. Seriously.
But I actually, the fact that people don't like those videos makes me want to do more. So
double down, lean into it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever somebody tells me I'm being an asshole, I'm like, cool, you haven't seen anything yet.
Yep. Just wait until I open up what's behind door number 2, motherfucker.
Yeah. Ready Player 2. Here it comes.
Yeah. Hey, so, but now let's go back over to, because, Murph does a lot of rucking, right? He go ruck, and, that's one of his ways for physical activity. He can bring his family members involved in it, so it's just a good thing. So, we already have a comment here. So let's actually do a little bit and let's talk and share our military experience. And I've got to actually ask you a question, because I don't know if you guys did this in the Marine Corps. So I'm going to bring up Mike here. Mike just said,
do you want the answer ahead of time? Whatever the Army did, we did it better. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. Challenge accepted. We'll find out here in a second. I like that. But so Mike is saying 2 pairs of socks. And I do know people who've done that. So let's just start right there too. Like a thin a really thin base layer sock to really help whisk away, and then a meatier, maybe a wool sock on the outside. What are your thoughts on the 2 pairs or just the socks in general? And then I guess my question is, did you ever turn your socks inside out?
You mean to prolong the life of them for inside out?
For foot marching?
Yes. I did it to prolong the life of them when we were in the field for Iraq. We went for the invasion. We were there for 4 or 5 months, and I think we went the whole time pretty much without showers. We could take whore baths with baby wipes, or whatever the PC term is for a whore bath. We did those, and then we honestly, I remember taking the socks off. I wore wool socks. I think they were Wigwam at the time, and really thick socks though. And I would turn them inside out. I mean, after a couple days, just to try to prolong the life of them. And wool is antimicrobial and all that other cool stuff, but it did seem to give me something. And then I would kind of wash them in whatever water can was nearby. I mean, it ain't pretty, but it worked. I mean, I'm still here and I've still got my feet. So, yeah.
So when I was I spent most of my time in the military in light infantry. I did one tour in a mechanized unit over in Germany in the late 80s. But other than that, I mean, all my stuff is light infantry, air assault, that kind of stuff. So, in the light infantry and in hell, even all the way through. And then my last kind of real thing that I did in the military was I was on the training team for 20th Special Forces, getting ready to go to selection. And unlike Tim Waltz, Tampon Tim, whatever his new nickname is, but I'm not an 18 series. I never went to selection. I actually ended up going to the agency instead. That's a different story. But Murph, what I was kind of also getting at is we used to turn our socks inside out, because even on, if you go back into the 90s and early 2000s, so this technology is very different. That's what Kevin was really getting at last night. But we would turn our socks inside out because that's where the seams are always on the inside of your sock.
Oh, okay.
Turn it inside out. And then also the sock coming up your calf, we would roll that down over the top of our boot. So as that sweat from your foot is in the sock, it's being pulled up to the top. And then instead of going up your leg where it can just come, it just went right back out to the outside of the sock on the outside of your boot. And then that helped dissipate, and evaporate that.
So it channeled it. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't. I did it, but I didn't know about that effect, and maybe that helped, and I just didn't even realize it. Man, we had the heavy boot socks at one point. I think they just called them boot socks, and they were padded and thicker on the bottom, and the military issue green or black socks. They were Thorlos or something maybe. Those were great socks, but now looking back at it, I'm like, man, that was primitive as hell. And then you go back to the guys that did all the heavy stuff, Korea, World War II, all that. Imagine what they were wearing. I mean, today's kids' gym socks from Under Armour probably beat the hell out of that technology, and they bitch if they got to run more than a mile lap in school in the gym. So look at their old boots, the old Boondocker boots. Good Lord, man. I wouldn't have wanted to invade any country in that, even if it was like some nice tropical destination.
Oh, hell, or just the jump boots from World War II, even to
like Corcoran type things. Yeah.
Yeah. We were, Cochran's. Yeah. My very first duty station, you had a pair of jump boots. I mean, even though we weren't technically 101st isn't an airborne unit, it's an air assault unit, but because of our history. So, that's what you wore, with your dress uniform, because we had our class A's tucked into our boots, having that whole, we still had the glider patches and all that, but yeah, there's no effing way you would ever do a foot march in Cochran's. But yet there was guys wearing those boots in Vietnam and Korea and World War II, and like, holy shit, man.
So I got a story for you on that, on the Cochran's. So the Corcoran's, I don't know, but I had a buddy. I had a buddy that was very into, he was one of those like spit and polish guys. And he would spit shine every pair of boots. I mean, they had to be mirror polished. I was a field Marine. I was a garrison Marine. I had somebody else polish my boots because I could polish them, but as far as a spit shine to make them look pretty, that wasn't me. So he hits me up one day. He goes, "Hey man, I got these boots if you want them. They're like size 12 or whatever I needed." And I said, "Yeah, sure. Okay." So I bought them off of him for 12 pack of beer or whatever it was. It was something cheap. I get these things, and we had a 20K hump or something, like 2 or 3 days following. And I'm like, man, these boots feel pretty good. I bet I could do a 20K in these. Yeah, no, don't ever do that. Corcoran's, whatever the hell they're called, do not ever do any kind of marching in those. No. They were horrible. And then when we get back and we're all on the tarmac, and we're there at the parade deck and we're grounding our gear and all that stuff. I get my ass jumped by the gunny because I've got flight line boots on. You're not jump qualified. There's no wings on those BDUs. And I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? He's just ripping me up and down about these damn boots. And I'm like, what? And those are only flight line authorized. They're not authorized for infantry Marines. And I'm like, dude, you can have them. I'll give them to you right now. I don't ever want to see them again, ever. And, luckily it was cool. I just never wore them again. I think I sold them or gave them to somebody else. But good God, those were, there's a purpose for every tool. And those boots do not have a place in the world of humping, hiking, rucking, whatever the hell you want to call it.
No, not at all. Not at all. And matter of fact, hopefully you sold them for another, you got your 12-pack of beer back for them,
Oh, I probably got that from somebody somehow, somewhere. Yeah. And also the sock liner thing. We were talking about the sock liner. I did do the dress sock as a liner for a while. It just got complicated trying to wear it like that. And then once I switched to wool, I didn't need a liner anymore. I realized I kind of skimmed over that.
So that's a great point. So we got some comments coming in. Let me just catch up because that's actually one of the comments, and we'll address that. First off, going back to what we were talking about on the interwebs, Snowshoe Dave. Those are grumpy trolls who want everyone to be as miserable as they are. Snowshoe Dave, I agree with you, sir. And just a sad state of affairs, though. Like that, there really are people who would do that, But I think you're right, Snowshoe. That's kind of how I view it too. Big Visk. Okay, so now we're getting into some boot stuff here and sock stuff. Big Visk. I used to wear a thin polypropylene sock and a heavier wool sock ages ago. Now I just wear one pair of wool, or and this is what he's getting at, a majority wool blend, because there are some wool synthetic blends out there that are pretty good. And then I'll give you one more, and then let's just kind of come back to you, Murph, on the sock side. Snowshoe Dave coming back with polypro liner to wick away the moisture and a wool sock over that, and that's the two sock technique. So. And you just kind of said you've done that before too, but you've just gone back to one sock now.
And honestly, even doing Go Ruck events, even doing probably the most I've rucked since I got out was like a 26 or 28 miler. And I just wore just standard merino wool socks for those. Sam's Club used to sell, damn it, I can't remember what it is. I'll get you the name of it, but it was like a 3-pack of socks. They were made in the US, and they were just
I think those were the Fox River, or you mentioned Wigwam. I don't think it was Wigwam.
No, it was something wool. Or I probably took a pair off today. It wasn't smart wool, but it was something. If you didn't pay attention, it was similar to it. And I love those socks. They've got so much life out of them. I wore those for a long time. I still wear Wigwams. I still wear a Bass Pro used to sell I want to say they were like $12 a pair, and you can get them in different lengths, different thicknesses. And they were called like Forever Wool Sock, and it was under the Redhead brand. But now they don't do that because they said they don't need the warranty, because these socks are so solid, you'll never need the warranty, which tells me they got tired of replacing them. So they do need the warranty.
Yeah. So that's where my brain went. I was like, well, actually that tells me the exact opposite. So
yeah, it was under the Redhead brand, and you can get them under different lengths, but I've still got some, and I think I traded in a pair like 4 or 5 years ago, and I still wear them occasionally, and I don't need to trade them in as often. But the new ones just don't feel quite as solid as the old ones. But I haven't had to trade either pair in now, so I don't know.
Well, so just to everybody who there's a couple more comments we'll get to here in a second.
People are going to be like, "Shut up about feet."
Oh no, this is so important. People are commenting on that. So back to, if you missed it, look, for me, I don't do the 2-layer system anymore. I used to a long time ago. If I know I'm going to do serious humping, if I'm going to do a long foot march. And, and I really kind of wish maybe I'll have to bring this up. So Clint from Nemesis, he's an 18 series. So you go through a land nav course called the Star course. So I went through that in the training group, and I've got my map still someplace. It was, you're humping. I mean, it was over 20 miles. I mean, it was a lot. And then I think in Germany, I can't remember if it was for the Schützenschnur or if it was for some other event, but I think that was another 20-mile march. Most of the time in the military, you're doing a 12-mile foot march, and there is a difference, whether you're doing it on asphalt or if you're doing it, through the woods. I mean, it's going to impact your feet differently. But I guess what I'm just getting at there is, a long time ago, I just went to one sock, and if it wasn't, and if the sock had even just the slightest bit of the seam right up there on my toe. I turned them inside out, so I had the smoothness against my skin. You know, and then you still got to think about, you know, because that's an abrasion point. That's where you're going to have some type of rubbing. And then, like I said in the video, feeling up underneath the top of your shoe, back in the heel, you know, that's another area right there. But for me, and then Murph, get your thoughts on it, and then we'll read some comments. But for me, it's a good sock. I mean, and as Kevin said, you drop $20, $30 on it, and if it's a good sock, it is worth every penny of it, because it's going to make a difference. Even if you're only doing 5 or 10 miles, like even out in the woods, if you don't do that very often, and if I mean, foot maintenance, I mean, if you get that can really put people out. I mean, and Murph knows this from the military. That's one of the things that, you know, if you go back far enough in time, more people were casualties because of their clothing and their equipment than they were from actually enemy contact. So.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, look at look at trench foot, World War II, or World War One, sorry, and probably World War II as well, but World War One is more prevalent. How many people do you think went down from trench foot? I mean,
well,
if you take the infantry off their feet, you've just destroyed the infantry. You've crippled the infantry. Whatever, you know, you've diminished their capabilities there. And you know, we had no idea what immersion foot was back then. It was, you got your feet wet, walk them dry. And you know, the Vietnam, we got the bilges in the boots, so it actually siphoned the water out, which is an amazing piece of technology, but it's so damn simple. I don't know. There's a lot of that stuff that, like blisters, you know, even there's different schools of thought on how to take care of blisters. You probably do them differently than I do, and a corpsman or a medic will tell you that we're both wrong. But I mean, I'm still here, I'm still rucking, I'm still doing it, so it works for me. Does it hurt? Probably, but being an idiot hurts sometimes. So maybe I'm doing it wrong and still suffering through it. My daughter actually recently went to senior leadership school. I don't know if I've been on since she was there last, but we went up there and she had this a blister from a burn she got on her little four-wheeler. She was riding it in shorts because she has not learned better yet. And she's cruising around and she gets a little burn on there because it damn near tipped over on her. We took care of it, treated it, and all that stuff. Well, it blistered up about 3 or 4 days before she went to the school. I'm getting ready to take her in there, and I said, "Do you want me to remove this for you?" And she's kind of looking at me like, "What? Like, you were infantry, you weren't a medic." And I said, "I can take care of this." And she's kind of looking at me kind of skeptical. I said, "I got you." So I get my little race box. It's a Yeti box with all kind of stuff I might need for races or rucks or whatever. And I pull out this little safety pin, and I just, you know, sanitize it real quick. And I said, "Here it goes." And she flinches. I said, "What are you flinching for?" She goes, "It's going to hurt." I said, "Baby, it's dead skin."
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's a skin with a fluid in there that's protecting the burn. It's not going to hurt anything. And now it's kind of served its purpose. It's started to deflate, and I don't want it to rip open on you while you're there. So I lanced it, squeezed it out. We bandaged it, told her to make sure it breathes every night. I mean, again, I'm not a medic. I don't know. Maybe I told her wrong, but it worked for her. She came back fine. They have an awesome medical staff there that treated her every day. They'd come in and change her bandage. So it worked. And, you know, sometimes you just got to know how to take care of your shit. I mean, preventive maintenance is better than maintenance, but you still got to know how to do the maintenance. So if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. And if you're not going to be either, you got to be smart about it.
So just to that point, and then I'm going to read some comments here, kind of continue with that.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody in the infantry is a medic and foot maintenance. So if you were a team leader, a squad leader, platoon sergeant, you know, NCO, mostly NCO for this. I mean, I was a lieutenant, you know, officer for a while too, but I try to stay out of my, you know, out of the way of my NCOs, which was hard for me because I'd worked through the ranks from private to E7. I was a platoon sergeant, and then I became an officer. You know, and when I was in E7, everybody, Murph, you'll get this. Everybody like would look to me like, "Hey, what do you think, Lina?" You know, I'm like, "You know, what are your thoughts on this, or how should we do it?" The moment I became a lieutenant, even though I was the same guy, but I was a lieutenant, a butter bar, and they're like, "Just shut up, Louis. You know, just shut up, Lieutenant." But to your point, though,
yeah,
you're whenever you're doing, even if you're after a patrol or you're moving from point A to point B, whether that's like a forced march or a 12-mile ruck march, you know, for some type of event, whatever it was. Either the medic, if you had a medic assigned to you, or your combat lifesaver, or you, the NCO, it was like, all right, you know, and, you know, again, and under certain circumstances, not everybody's doing this at the same time because you got to have, you know, people pulling security, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it always was take off your boots, show me your feet, change your socks. I mean, you had to almost have to constantly be telling people to do this because a lot of people will forget it. And to your point, You know, we did this in the wintertime once, and we were wearing those vapor barrier boots, and dudes did this. And it wasn't a full 12 mile, but it was part of this, you know, Arctic light fighter thing that we were doing. And guys were wearing vapor barrier boots because, you know, most of the time we're out in the woods in the snow, but then you had a foot march portion. Man, you cannot foot march in vapor barrier boots. I mean, it's a vapor barrier, all that sweat and everything. Those are good for standing guard, and that's what they're good for. And man, we had so many casualties. And to Murph's point, we had guys who couldn't complete the rest of the event because their feet were blistered up so bad. They were just, you know, and they weren't pieces of shit soldiers. They were, you know, and that goes into your kind of dumbass thing. And let me just kind of catch up on some comments here, because you're going to like one of them, I'm pretty sure. So we got Trazer. Hey, Trazer, you know, I think you were on the last live stream. Good to see you. Trazer saying hi. And then he says, I love Vibram boots and Fox River socks. He's claiming, you know, good for, you know, over 12 miles. Yeah. So yeah, how you do it, you know, and again, a good socks, Fox River. I've got a bunch of those. I mean, they're not the more expensive, but they're not cheap either, but they're good socks. And then here's the one I wanted to bring up for you, Murph. VTech Moonwalker. My dumb ass uses plain off cotton Hanes for 5 to 20 miles. And then he says, yeah, I'm retarded and I hate myself. Kind of like what you were saying. Like, well, I just might be stupid and I don't know any better.
Yeah. But hey, you learn from that, right? That's how you move forward better. Yeah.
I do like that. Trazer coming in. Nice trick. I learned. Nice trick he learned was to keep a spare pair of boot soles for when you get your boots soaked. And by soles, I bet you're talking about inserts, right? You know, the insert to your boot. Yep, exactly. And that's, when your boots are soaked, you know, you got to get that moisture out of there, you know, and that was just another. So in my rucksack, I always had, not only did you have the socks that were on the rotation, I always had another pair of inserts, just like what you're saying, Trazer. I had an extra set of inserts. And then, you know, that was part of my foot maintenance kit. And, you know, we'll talk about this. We probably won't be able to do it justice over on Sunday's episode of Millstone, but somewhere either here or over on Millstone, we'll do a whole 1 hour just on foot maintenance and rucking. I mean, you know, Murph and I are just having fun talking about. We actually should probably move past boots because we've got to
say we've been on this for a minute.
Yeah, but it's such an important thing, and there are so many things like your toenails. If you don't keep your toenails trimmed, I mean, you're just inviting disaster. And then here, imagine that, Gene. Damn, no screw tube notification. Ass hats there. Hey, Gene, welcome to the party, pal. Yeah, and that's exactly who they are. A bunch of people that have not been getting notifications. So just a quick little plug. You know, you hear everybody on, you know, YouTube say this, and there's a reason. Hey, make sure you like, leave comments. You know, not just here. You know, I really appreciate all the live stream comments. That makes it fun. But even after the video post, leave a comment on the video. Comment on other people's videos, and then seriously, you know, I've clearly come back up on the radar, and I think Millstone kind of is what started it. But yeah, we're just being suppressed and crushed, both, you know, from on the Google screw tube side of it, you know, Instagram, Facebook side of it. So yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Gene, but thanks for making it. And they are ass hats. Good choice of words there, Gene. That's another one that needs to be brought back. Ass hats. Hey, speaking of hats, Murph, why don't we just go into hats real quickly? Let's talk about, use this. Let's kind of segue into the charity auction we're going to do. And why don't you go and maybe show off the hat, the pattern, and what we're thinking, you know, but why don't you take it?
Well, how do you want me to go with this? You want me to talk about the auction first and then talk about what we're thinking?
Yeah, let's talk about the auction first. What is that? So boys and girls, just full disclosure, Murphy and I came up with this, 3 days ago?
Yeah. So it's a rough sketch. Yeah.
Yeah. So we haven't had it, and Murph will explain this in a second, but so we're not going to do the charity auction. We're not kicking that off tonight. We'll probably end up having to kick it off next week, but we just finished, and that's, you know, Readiness Training Group is doing their charity event tomorrow. So it just seemed perfect. Let's sit and talk about that tonight. So Murph, why don't you tell everybody what we're going to do?
Yeah, so my daughter is a member of a national organization. It's actually a worldwide organization. They have some in Okinawa, I think, as well as maybe Australia, but I can't remember. There's somebody else, but it's mainly United States. But it's a youth organization called the Young Marines. It is not a pipeline to the military, even especially the Marine Corps. It's not a pipeline at all to that, or, you know, a way to get into that. It's a leadership organization. It's a leadership development organization, and is a drug demand reduction organization. That's the two things they champion. So they'll take just kids that want to join, ages 8 to 18, and they'll teach them about leadership. And they do it as the Young Marines. It's funded. Well, it's funded by Congress to a degree. They get X amount of money that goes over all these different units across the United States. They don't get all this money per unit. I think it's like, I forget what the budget is. It's like $20,000 or $200,000 or so. It may be slightly more than that. I don't know. But it all goes to all these different units. But when they want to do special events, it's up to them to fund themselves. So they're selling meat sticks and things like that, just whatever they can to make it happen. They're doing community service. They're doing just whatever kind of stuff they can to get money. And we're trying this year. This will be the first year our unit, and I'm volunteer staff, so I'm part of this. We're trying to get our unit to go to Pearl Harbor in December, and it's not cheap. With 30 something kids going and the adults necessary per kid, I think it's like one adult for every 6 kids or something. I'm probably wrong in that. So if you're from the organization that's doing the oversight, I'm wrong. Don't listen to me. Talk to the unit commander. He knows better. And we're trying to get all these people there. It's going to cost like $36,000. That's for Airbnb. That's for we're getting Airbnb. It's just more cost effective. We're getting tickets there. All the stuff we're going to do. We're going to do a beach service cleanup while we're there. It's not at all just hang out on the beach and enjoy Hawaii. Because trust me, I'm not the guy for that. I hate beaches. I'm not going to enjoy the beach. I promise you, that's not why I'm going. We're going to learn and to honor the sacrifice of those before us. And this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for most of these kids. Some of these kids will probably never leave Indiana. But that's what we're trying to benefit here, I believe, is that kind of, where do you want me to go next?
Yeah, no. And I just want to echo that. So, I don't know if whoever you are watching, if you have a bucket list, I was able to check off one of my bucket list events, which was being in Normandy for an actual D-Day ceremony celebration. I was coming back from overseas. I was able to take leave en route, met a buddy who was stationed in Poland at the time, in Paris. And then we hung out in Normandy for, almost a week. And I'm here to tell you, it was, and even as an adult, I mean, it was just so awe-inspiring. And so for these young kids to be able to get to Pearl Harbor for December 7th ceremonies, and again, just even all the other things, and also just go there and not just be, we're not just observers. They're going to be participants. They're going to clean up a beach. They're going to do those other things. That's just amazing. That's just like, I just think those kids will carry that with them for the rest of their life. So anybody who's watching, hey, seriously, I'm gonna, when I tag this, or if I do something on Instagram, hey, tag Tulsi Gabbard. Somebody else made another recommendation. Give me a second here. Tag
Jack Carr, I believe.
Jack Carr, yeah. Tag. Hey, share this video with people. So we'll probably have this figured out by next week's live stream. Because again, so it's no harm, no foul, but the gentleman who was in charge of that program, Murph is talking about, and I'll pop them up in a second here. But he, it's just life. He's super busy, and we just came up with this on the fly the other night, and he can't just react to it. He's got some other things going on, but we're gonna have this figured out here within the next 7 to 10 days, and we're gonna do this. And before I bring up the Seymour Young Marines tab, what we're gonna do, and you guys can leave a comment here too. Maybe you wanted to see something else, but we were talking about rucksacking, so. I have that new rucksack, and when we open back up, that will be one of the custom products. But what Murph and I were talking about is, boy, it would be cool to do one of the rucks, but then do it in a one-off, a one-only type of thing. And you can see the hat Murph's wearing. So this is legacy media. Again, Clint kind of talking about that from Nemesis, but Murph, I'm going to show the hat. This is what we're kind of thinking, either that
or right. So that's the old Marpat, or not Marpat, the old Raider frog skin duck hunter camo was twofold. You could flip it over, right? So you had this when you were in the sand on the beach, and then you'd get into the tropical areas inside the beach, the jungle, and be able to flip it. So all that stuff was reversible back in the day. Their poncho line, or their ponchos, their tent shelters, all that good stuff. And it's kind of it's kind of like how the Army has like that old throwback tiger stripe from Vietnam. the Marine Corps has the frog skin, or as I like to call it, island hopper panty dropper. Yes. Yeah, there you go. That's the desert tiger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what we were kind of thinking, because it kind of pays homage to the Marines of the past, and it kind of ties into the young Marines, right?
Yeah. So boys and girls, that's what we're thinking we're going to do for the charity auction. So stay tuned. I just love it. So we're going to do the ruck. That's what we're thinking. We'll do a ruck. I still got to see if I can find the duck skin or frog skin, however you want to call
skin.
it.
Duck hunter, frog skin. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got to see if I can find it. And, you know, but that's what we're kind of thinking. I just think that would be so cool. And that's, again, a legacy thing, you know, and look, and this is what's awesome about just this. This is where the internet and everything can help. You know, Clint from Nemesis Camo, great guy, you know, had met him a long time ago over the phone. And then, you know, just now recently getting back. And that's the first I ever heard that term, legacy camo. And I just love it because it, you know, and Murph and I were talking about, and he was like, oh, you mean legacy camo? I'm like, yeah, you know, and then what he's wearing right now, that is it. I mean, it's like, you're not just wearing, you're paying homage to those guys who were just, you know, I mean, the shit, I mean, think about Peleliu or Tarawa. I mean, holy crap, you know, or Normandy, you know, like, yeah. Oh, I thought you were making that noise.
But I deleted it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was just humming it. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that, man, you know, you're going to get certain dudes that have a reverence for the past, and probably ladies too, that you throw something out there like that, and they're like, man, I love that pattern, or that's kind of retro, or, you know, whatever. I mean, how many people do you know probably in the 80s, 90s that were walking around with like M81 field jackets, and they'd never served, but they seen Rambo wearing one. They couldn't get it in the old OD, so they got it in this pattern, and it was really awesome, and they loved it. And I mean, I'm still wearing, actually, I'm wearing BDU shorts right now. So I'm kind of mixing camos. I'm wearing M81 BDU shorts right now. It's just, hey, man, it works. The stuff works. It looks cool. I don't wear a lot of bright colors when I'm out in the street, but if I'm in town, I might throw on a pair of camo pants and wear them just because they do stick out a little bit. And I've never been a fashionable guy. I mean, I live in the Midwest, so we're not known for our fashion sense. No. And
look at me. Okay. I took a hoodie and I cut it off. I mean, so there is no fashion sense at all, right? You know?
Yeah.
Hey, okay. So boys and girls, so stay tuned. So again, I love this idea. You know, Murph and I wanted to do something, and I just love this concept. And here, before I go too far, let me just share it real quickly. Okay, so this is who they are. Let me come back here so I can see what I'm looking at.
Well, right, that's their most recent one. Yeah.
So, but anyway, so this is who they are. Seymour Young Marines. Here, I'll do this so everybody can see it. I'll put this as a comment, and then you can find them there. So here's a comment. Give me a second, boys and girls. I'll show.
And they've got a Facebook. They've got an Instagram. They're not very active on, but they've got Facebook. They're trying to do a PayPal, a Venmo, all that. I mean, man, technology moves so fast. And like I said, you were talking, Sean, the unit commander. He just moved into a new house. He's remodeling it. He's got 2 kids under the ages of 4, both of them. He runs a full-time business that he runs himself. Well, he's got a business partner, but he's a businessman. He doesn't work for somebody. He has a business. Plus, he does this every Saturday without fail for these kids, and he's 100% present, dude. I mean, you won't find a dude that's more selfless for kids than him. He came through this program at 8 years old, graduated, he timed out, they call it, at 18 years old, joined the Marine Corps Reserves, got out, started a business, and went right back to being a unit commander or staff, then unit commander for the Young Marines. He took it over from his dad. So he's a dude that if you had any questions about this, he's the guy to ask. He can give you the complete 411 on everything Young Marines.
Well, okay, so everybody just stay tuned. We're figuring this out, and like Murph just said, I mean, you know, the guy's super busy. You know, we just came up with this the other day, and that's kind of how I work in the world too. It's like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's just fucking do it. You know, talking ain't doing. Let's just do it. So now we just got to figure this out. And, you know, and Murph and I have gone back and forth. We might do it the way we did, you know, my charity auction for RTG, and you buy tickets from the website. I actually kind of like another idea where people just donate directly to the Young Marines. And then because, and then setting a minimum, like, like it's a $10 ticket. But if you're a great person, or Tulsi Gabbard, if you really want to get these kids to your, your state of Hawaii, maybe you kick in $1,000 for a ticket, you do, and it helps these kids get to that goal and have that once in a lifetime experience, which could help shape, just who they are and who they grow up to be and who they become as citizens of this great country. Well, used to be a great country. Still is. We just gotta pull our heads out of our ass, though.
We have it. We're just we're a little astray right now. We'll come back on track.
Yeah, I agree.
I do believe that.
Hey, so here's a couple comments real quickly, and then we're going to move into the second to the last part. VTech Moonwalker, he's probably not here anymore. He had a bounce. ID gentleman, got to go. He's on the clock. Have fun. Mark, send me a quote on that ruck. Get me into that queue, please. Thank you. And then that actually ties right in with Trazer. Do you have a price for the ruck? Trazer, if you want to do what VTech is doing, shoot me an email. We just finished our last batch. Actually, just dropped them off at the photographer's house today to get our last pictures. Now, these rucks are already spoken for. They're going to some other people, but I wanted to get them photos. So we just did that. So, I know this is going to sound stupid, but we have to look at the labor, the material. So I don't have my cost of goods complete right now, not 100% complete. I'll probably have that. We're focusing right now on getting all of our existing orders done, so then we can move over and start making some inventory for the ships the next business day. But somewhere here by the end of the month, I'll do the complete cost of goods. But I can tell you, we've done this long enough now. I know it's going to have to sell for probably the baseline might be 425, 400, 425. And then if you go camouflage, then you're, it'll be an add-on because camouflage is more expensive, that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. But, Trazer, want to start saving. Yeah, it's probably going to be something like that. And I'm going to actually do some videos here, in the next couple of weeks too, because, I don't know if you've seen some of the pictures or the videos. What is kind of different about this is, the shape. I did the shape very intentional for a reason. The lid, how it closes, that's very intentional for a reason. And then the shoulder straps can come completely off. So if you do have a plate carrier or some type of system like that, you can actually mount it completely to the back of that system, and you don't have shoulder straps going over shoulder straps, because I always used to hate that in my time being a cool guy.
Right.
Though I wasn't much of a cool guy. I was more of a fool guy. But here we go. And then last is it the last comment? One more. Yeah. And then Gene, legacy is the way to go. Yeah. So Gene's weighing in. If we can pull off the frog skin, that's what we got to do. I think, Murph, for the giveaway.
I think we can. I think that's the way to do it. And we could even, man, I don't know. There's so many cool things to do with that project, and I'll help out obviously however I can. And no matter what, if it's a $10 ticket and you pay, I know how it goes. Trust me, I do this all the time. And I'm a single dad. I got a mortgage and a truck, and I'm like, a truck payment. I'm like, man, I can't afford this. But if I do, like, say $10, I'm like, hey, at least that's going somewhere good. And I promise you, these kids will appreciate it to the nth degree. I mean, they're working their asses off to make this money, but everybody's tapped out. Times are tight. I get it. So to ask for money is not an easy thing. So when you kind of came at me with this, I'm like, man, I got something, but I don't know if people will go for it, because it sounds like you're just funding a trip to Hawaii, and that's really not it at all. I can't stress that enough. It's not just a trip to Hawaii for these kids. This is, most of them, it's a once in a lifetime trip, and it's historical. There's reverence involved. There's services. I mean, they're doing things that most people just go to Hawaii to put their toes in the sand. These guys ain't doing it. They might get some beach time to go play in the water, I'm sure. But yeah, I promise 90% of it is going to be educational and work.
And I just brought them back up again so people could see that. But on that note right there, Murph, Murph and I were talking. Now, if we can pull this off, I think this would be great too. But we're going to try to figure it out, working with Sean, and figure it out. So, maybe we leave the auction or the bidding, or the donation opportunity up for a week or two. But we'll actually find out when their next drill date, if you want to call it a drill date, the next day they get together. We'll work backwards from that, figuring it all out, because it would be awesome if we held the, again, the, here's your, your random number generator, and Sean or the kids can do it.
Yep.
And, but they're present with Murph, and they're at their facility, and then they're there, and you get to see the kids, and, and we do the drawing like that. That would be pretty friggin' bad.
I think that was a good idea. You brought it up the other day, and I think that's a fantastic idea, just to get those kids involved in it so you can see them. And I mean, these kids go out to be, well, I mean, a couple have been CEOs, but they own their own business. I mean, Sean can give you the whole spiel. I wish he was here to talk to you about it, because he's far more knowledgeable than I am, and I'm just making this look like a shit show. But he does a very good job of selling the young Marines.
Hey, well, help sell. Show that hat again. Show because
Yep.
again, we're gonna show the pattern. Show the hat just once. So that's that classic legacy.
Yep.
You know,
Trying to find my camera. It's on the other side. Damn it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, but there's that, and then the one that most people might know more is the duck kind of color. Yeah, you got it. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, that's more of the desert style. Man, that one grows on me a little bit. It's kind of cool and it stands out. And I know they've done studies, and one of the most easy to blend in pattern or colors ever, and I know people hate to hear this, is the straight Carhartt tan like pants. You go out in Carhartts like bib overalls, you can blend in most sets of woods in the United States with those.
Well, not to argue camo and stuff, but you know, I live in northern Minnesota. I mean, we've got deer everywhere, you know, nice whitetail. If I could ever take a deer hide and somehow totally replicate that into, like, you know, the Kadura material, dude, the color of a deer,
the color phase, the dark to light, the way it goes there. I mean, think about that. I don't care if you believe in intelligent design or not. Nature itself is intelligent, just evolution. I mean, deer they're not just tan. They're dark up top, and then they get lighter as it goes down. There's a reason for that, right? Like, you look in the woods, there's a reason for that. So yeah, and it does come to that buckskin color like we're talking about.
And even so, like right now in Minnesota, you know, it's really green in, you know, July and August. But boy, oh boy, like that deer, if that deer, you know, its movement is what you're, you know, and Clint would talk about that. Yeah. But if that deer is
that's
just
what I'm looking at.
If that deer is just standing there, you'll glance right past it and you might miss it. I mean, you know, so hey, okay, so we're almost at an hour and we got a couple more things to do, my good man. So let's let me okay, we're gonna do a giveaway, boys and girls. Murph and I had this giveaway idea. Now, not this product. I'll explain this in a second, but Murph and I had a giveaway idea, I don't know, a month or so ago, and we just didn't do it then because I can't remember why. We couldn't make it work. But I think we figured this out. I'm going to have Murph talk about that in a second, and I'll show the product. But before I do, I would be remiss if I don't give a huge shout out. No, I haven't seen him. Leave a comment. I know he watches the live streams, and I know he watches the videos. I kind of just said he, so I guess I gave a little too much away. But
well, there's 50% population. Yeah.
Well, there it is. So or maybe I was lying and I said he, and it's really a she. Anyway, someone sent me a gift today, and you know who you are. You're absolutely effing crazy for doing it, but God bless you. And I'm actually enjoying one of his gifts right now, and this is actually was on my list. So this is Juggernaut. This is a Cabernet. So he sent me a bottle of Juggernaut. But then he sent me a bottle of Camus 50-year anniversary. Dude, way overkill. What the heck? I mean, God bless you. I need to be on your Christmas list. I mean, if that's what you just send people to be nice, God bless you. I'm having the Juggernaut tonight because I'm gonna have pasta later tonight, some spaghetti I made. But I'm saving that Camus, and I'll share that with friends around a bonfire or a barbecue somewhere, you know, a little bit later this year. So hats off to you, my good man. And, you know, I think that's just a great segue into, you know, the giveaway and what we're trying to do. Okay, hang on. Here we go. He is
Hold
watching.
on. I'm a bit of a booze head there, Mark, but what is Camus?
It's a Cabernet. Camus is
okay. All right, gotcha.
Yeah, and so he is watching. So here's learn me something saying you're welcome. My good man, I just was too busy to give you a phone call at the end of the day. By the way, it's been raining here all day, and they left it on the porch, so everything was soaked. And I thought it was some material that I'm waiting on. And anyway, so that kind of pissed me off because the UPS guys and the USPS guys have the code for the entryway. And I'm like, gosh, dang it. And then I'm like, okay, hang on, what is this? And I'm like, and I knew it was you, and I knew it was what you were talking about. But then I opened it up and I saw, I'm like, man, you're crazy. But I love you. Thank you so much. That was so awesome. And I had been meaning to try the Juggernaut for a long time. So thank you very, very much for that. And like I said, I'll save the Camus. And Camus, Murph, you know, it's a very robust, very you know, if you like your wines, if you like wine, and it's a Cabernet, and it's going to go so good with some steak coming off of a grill. I mean, it's just going to be unbelievable. I mean, it's going to be like butter, you know, red, you know, medium rare steak, just with some salt and pepper, and then that Camus. Oh my God, it's going to be so good.
I'm not much of a wine guy, but I know how I am about craft beer and bourbon, and I fear that I'd be the same with wine. So I don't go down that rabbit hole for no other reason than that. I don't judge people that drink wine. I just go, man, I've already got enough addictions. I don't need that.
That's what I was just going to say, dude, just stick to your lane. You got enough. Yeah. Because you don't need, that's the same thing. Don't open yourself up to like, oh, that's good too. Now I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah. It's so like watches, right? I'm big into guns and knives, but not watches. Like, don't throw watches at me because I'm like, dude, I got a G-Shock or a Garmin. I don't need anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so there's Learn Me Something. Hey, seriously, God bless you. You did not. And look, anybody, you know, that's just an incredibly nice gesture. And you know what I really like about it, though, seriously, you know, it isn't that, you know, I'm having a nice bottle of wine here tonight. And again, I'm going to have pasta. So that just perfectly, you know, paired. And then I'll save that Camus and I'll have that with my friends and family, you know, when we do a barbecue when the temperature's a little bit colder. But you know what we're doing, like, you know, the charity auction for RTG, the charity auction that Murph and I are going to try to get going here for the Seymour Young Marines, the giveaway we're about to do. Boys and girls, just, hey, you know, try to control your own backyard. And, you know, sometimes there are people who need to be punched in the throat. And there's other times, you know, the vast majority of the time, man, just be a good person. And so Learn Me Something. What a great gesture. Thank you so much. And, you know, here, Gene, Learn Me Something. You're an awesome dude. Yep. Gene, and so are you. Tennessee, what a nice gesture. And then Learn Me Something's got something for you, Murph. He says, Murph, I wasn't. See, he's trying to corrupt you already. Yeah. Murph, I wasn't a wine guy until I tried Camus. See what he's trying to do?
Hey, you've heard the people that'll tell you about the beer or the liquor or the whatever they can't have because they do dumb stuff or whatever. Like, oh, I can't do tequila. I've always heard that. And I dated a girl that was heavy into tequila, like not heavy. She didn't have a problem or anything, but she just really enjoyed it. And I was like, man, I don't know. And I did some stupid stuff with tequila with her. And I was like, I'm just not into it anymore. And then a friend of mine, actually my great uncle, we went out for Mexican one night and he said, hey, try this. And he brings me, and it's Don Julio, but I understand that's not the greatest tequila, but it's Don Julio Añejo. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, if you like bourbon, you'll like this. And I drank it and I drank about 2 fingers of it. And I was like, dude, this is where it's at when it comes to tequila. Like, I can drink tequila again. Like, it tastes like bourbon. It has a flavor that I understand and that I enjoy. It's kind of like going to Scotch, right? Like, people like that peaty Scotch. People that don't like the bite of a bourbon enjoy Scotch. So you just got to find your thing. And if you're not into alcohol at all, disregard everything I'm talking about. I'm an idiot anyway, so just pay no attention to me.
Yeah, if you're not,
there's a flavor for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not into alcohol, you're probably the smart one in the mix here. Mike,
yeah, if you're not into alcohol, holler at me. I need a driver sometimes.
Yeah, we need a designated driver. Mike is saying he's got to scoot. Stay sharp. Hey, Mike, thanks for staying up. I know it's late your time. They're overseas. So hey, Mike, before you go though, we're going to do a giveaway, and it's not just for the live stream. So come back at the end and watch this. We're going to give away one of our Babs here in a second. Yes. This is going to be open for at least a week, and Murph is going to explain why in a second. So this is that dedicated shoulder. It's like our Gap pouch, but it's a bag, rear slip pocket. So Mike, just stay tuned or watch it later. And thanks for hanging out with us here tonight. I appreciate that. All right. And then Trazer. Oh, okay. Sorry. Let me get the booze out of the way. I thought Trazer was saying he had to run, so I was going to read his real quickly.
He's saying I got rum.
Yeah, he goes, I got, Tennessee is saying Blanton's is some good bourbon.
And it's only about 2 hours away from me, or an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Trazer, he likes his rum. Gotta love rum. All right, here we go. Murph, let's go into this because we're just at an hour, a little over an hour. All right, so boys and girls, we made an extra one of these by mistake. So it's Babs. It's the badass bag, or whatever you want to call it, right? Babs. So the shoulder strap is just tucked inside right now, so it's not flopping around. But Velcro on the top, Velcro on the front. slip pocket on the backside, slip pocket on the inside. So we made this one by mistake. We're trying to get all of our orders out, and so this is an extra one. So brand new, not a but anyway, doesn't matter, brand new. But Murph had a great idea for a giveaway a couple weeks ago. So on that note, Murph, what is the contest? What do they have to do to potentially win this?
Well, let me bunt it back to you real quick. You said Velcro. I'm curious. Is it Velcro or Veltex that you use?
So we only use Velcro brand Velcro. So it's hook and loop, but it's Velcro brand Velcro. Yeah.
Okay. Another buddy of mine uses Veltex on some gear, and I was like, I didn't know there was a difference, and he kept getting mad at me. So I know it's kind of like Kleenex and Q-tip. I didn't know if it was a catch-all. Okay.
No, that's a great question, because it is. Everybody says Velcro, but the real nomenclature or term is hook and loop, right? That's the two sides. But Velcro, an American-made company. So again, everybody says Kadura. It's the same thing. Kadura is a brand. This is really denier. So this is a 500 denier made by Kadura brand. So kind of the same thing. Kleenex, Q-tip, all that. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about the coffee and what it means to us. I've been the benefactor of having many great cups of coffee in my life. And that can mean a lot of things. And one of my favorite questions to ask people, and I'm going to throw it out there, because when we ask this question, you can think about it however you want. You can think about it outside the box, whatever. What's the best cup of coffee you ever had? It could be anything from the environment, the time, like, hey, I was given a straight black cup of coffee at a time when I needed it most. That was the best cup I ever had. Or, hey, a cup with a relative that's long gone. That was my favorite cup. Or just the taste. I mean, it can be as simple as the taste. I ask that question all the time, and I'm always curious what people's ideas of the best cup of coffee to them is. And that's kind of where we went with it, right? We had talked about this a little bit, and I just want to know what the best cup of coffee is to you, the people watching.
And so I like how Murph, how you just did that. And so just to add to that again, if you want to focus on a brand, we're not even asking about a brand. I think honestly, that's kind of irrelevant to the real contest here. It's describe the best cup. And it could be, maybe it's like, hey, I had my first cup of coffee with my grandfather when I was 13 years old. And I, came down and hung out with him every summer or whatever. And that was always it was such an important point, as Murph said, you're telling the story. Like every time I was down there, Grandpa made me have a cup of coffee with him in the morning before we went out and cut wood or did whatever we were going to do. Find your story. Or maybe it was like to Murph's point, and maybe it's it doesn't have to be a military store, but maybe you got it. Because, that's where really, I think a lot, for me, it's just like, that cup of fucking just bullshit military black coffee. But when you need it most, because you've been up for almost 3 days with no sleep, everything you have is wet. You've been soaked, and you've been going through swamps and you're just smoked. And then suddenly you get a cup of coffee. So matter of fact, we just mentioned like the Pacific Theater of Operations, World War II earlier. And, if you look at some of the pictures of, well, even in the Atlantic, I guess, from World War II, where they're fishing guys out of the drink, whose ship had just been sunk or blown up or whatever. They're half covered in oil, maybe partially burnt. And like, here's a guy whose fingers don't even work. And he's sitting there and he's slamming a mug of coffee. Guarantee that was probably the best cup of coffee, that guy. So
have you seen the old black and white? I think they fished those guys off of Guadalcanal. It might have been Iwo, but I think it was Guadalcanal. And they got those dudes, and it's like from a galley of a ship, and the dude's holding a mug. And I've got, and I'm going to give them a quick plug because they're amazing mugs. It's called Glass Beach Mug Company. And they make, you've probably seen their ads everywhere, but it's Glass Beach Mug. And it's a mug without handles, but it's a really solid, thick mug modeled after the ones I think they found somewhere in an old like mess hall dump site back in like World War I or something. And they pulled these things out, and it's one of my favorite mugs. You can get a 4-pack of them. They're not cheap. They're probably like $25 a piece or something. But man, they're solid. But anyway, he's holding something similar to that. You can tell this dude's beleaguered. He hasn't even had a shower yet. And he's probably drinking shitty Navy mess hall coffee, but it's the best cup he's probably ever going to have. And that, to me, that's the image I get when I think of this question. but it can mean anything to anybody. And I want to know what it means to the watcher, to you that sees this by the time this giveaway goes on, or maybe far in the future. Hit me up and let me know, because I'm curious.
And I think that, so we're looking for that story, really. Again, we're not looking for the, like, I like, this brand versus that brand. I mean, you can throw that in there if you want.
Which I'm good with recommendations too at the end, right? P.S. also try blah, blah, blah. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. But so, by the way, I just tried looking up Glass Beach Mug Company, and I couldn't find them. I wanted to, it said it.
I'll send it to you on IG, because they have a profile that's where I found them.
Okay. And that's
I've had one for like 5 years.
And that's a great segue. So I will do, so once, the video's live right now, but I'll go in afterwards once you give me that link, and I'll pin it as a comment in this video so everybody can check them out, because I like that right there. Okay. So, hey, before we kind of go into it, just real quickly, here we go. Tennessee, pour over around the fire on a mountain morning. Hey, you can add
save this for the giveaway, man.
Yeah. So, and because we're about to explain the rules here in a second, but please share right now. But this is not a giveaway for just the live stream. We're going to leave this open for it. Well, what do you think, Murph? Let's leave it open for a week.
When do you want to do the drawing? Because if it's like a weekend and you want to do it like when we're having coffee in the morning, I don't care. We could do that and do something like that, and then we could share our personal stories about our best cup of coffee and then do the giveaway. Or if you want to do it, hey, we'll do it a Thursday from now. I can come back on for a minute and do however you want to do it, man.
No, so everybody stay tuned. It's going to be open for at least a week, and Murph and I will figure out when we do the actual giveaway, because I like that. I like that Saturday morning, on the hood of your truck, having a cup of coffee out of a can. We'll figure that out. But we're going to leave this open for a week. You can respond in comments to this video, or you can respond and to either, you can post something on Instagram or Twitter, and then tag, me at Centerline or Murph, and I'll put Murph up. But tag, if you're going to use Instagram to tell your story, because maybe you want to throw a picture in there as well, that's fine. But you got to tag us in there so we know that you're part of the drawing, or you leave a comment in this video afterwards, and because Murph is going to be a big part. It was his idea, the coffee thing. So he's going to be one of the judges. Both of us will judge this.
Yeah. And I'm going to donate some coffee to throw in too.
Nice.
So we talked about that, and I do want to make sure that happens, but to do that, I'll need whoever wins. So it's not going to be instantaneous. It goes out. Because I have a dude that roasts local to me. I'll need like your roast level. Like if you like light, medium, or dark. If you have a grinder, I'll need whole bean or ground already. I don't care. He can do it. Dude's a fucking whiz with that roaster. So I need to throw that in there before I forget.
So there it is. So it's going to be, matter of fact, and here's the deal. And I'm going to get to this in a second. I'm going to throw a little bit more in here. So we're going to do the Babs. Murph is going to throw in some coffee. And then as I go through these comments, you're going to see something else that I just came to my mind. So here we got George Costanza, fresh ground Kona on a Saturday morning to enjoy before the kids. And his next one, before the kids and wife wake up. All right. Tell us that story. And if you can, share some pictures. Again, we're going to open this up. Comment on this video in the comment section once, after we're done with the live, but you can also do it on X and Instagram. Tell us the story there. Just tag Murph and myself so we can see that and we can judge it. Trazer is bouncing out. So Trazer, I guess you're probably already gone. That was a couple minutes ago. Sorry. See y'all next stream. Trazer, if you're still here, again, contest, check it out. We got Tennessee, circa 1913, Glass Beach.
Yep, there you go.
As just an example. And Tennessee standby. Here we got Gene. Has to be on a Saturday morning, chatting to each other. It would set the tone for the comp. See, there it is right there.
There we
Gene
go.
agrees with you. Yeah, if Gene says that's what we do, then that's what we do, Murph. So, so whether we do, so not this Saturday, but then we'll look at that following Saturday. So here, let me just confirm this. Let's just do a command.
Yeah, make sure you're clear, because I can be clear for sure, but yeah.
So we're going to do Saturday the 24th.
So part of this too, the reason we talked about this is I'm a nerd about, there's a really cool book. It's the history of the world in like 8 glasses, I think, or 8 drinks or something. I've done audio. I've never read it, but they talk about, coffee, whiskey, rum, beer. I mean, they talk about all these different things and how they've affected the world and the roles they've played in the shaping of the world. I'm a nerd for coffee. Like I'm a third owner of a coffee trailer. We go around, well, Saturday mornings. I won't be doing it anyway. I haven't done it for a while, like actually work on the truck. But we are just nerds about coffee. And it's not like there's nothing wrong with it, but I call it the basic white bitch brews. There's nothing wrong with lattes and all that stuff. That's fine. I'm a black cup coffee guy. Like I'm a psycho, I guess, or whatever they say. But I like that. So I like my beer fruity. I don't like my coffee fruity.
Yeah, I don't like my beer fruity, but I love just black coffee. You know, my big kick is recently I've been adding
wine?
just a little. Well, that I've like. Yeah, when I first discovered wine, you know, I really kind of fell in love with that. Is my thing.
Yeah.
And again, I just took a nice pull off that. So learn me something. Thank you again. So that's really good stuff. But hey, I don't want to lose track here. I got to come back to Tennessee. So we'll do this on Saturday the 24th. We should pick a time. Okay. Murph,
give me you'll want probably, I don't know, what do you think? 7, 8 a.m., 8 or 9 a.m.
Well, I think that's too early for the West Coast folk. Okay, that's fine for the European and the.
So you want like 10?
I think we should do 11 o'clock your time. That's 10 o'clock my time.
Okay.
That's 8 o'clock West Coast time. And that's just before those crazy Europeans are going to the bar that night. You know, so they're already drinking beer. So let's do 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time. 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Central Daylight Time.
So
24 August
Eastern.
2024. Yeah, that's 11 o'clock Eastern daylight.
Carry
time.
the one 11 Eastern. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, just keep eating your crayons. Hey, okay, so 10 o'clock Central Daylight, boys and girls. That's when we're gonna do the contest. So you've got between now and probably that Saturday, make your submission. I'm going to pull Murphy. I'm going to pull Murph's Instagram handle up. I'm just saying.
Hey, it's open again, by the way. I opened it up for a little bit because I just posted a new YouTube video. So I always open it up to public when I do that.
Well, your YouTube as well?
Yeah, the YouTube's always open, but I posted a YouTube video and I always share it on my Instagram, and then I open my Instagram as public. Yeah.
And so Murph Nuge is back up as public then.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Okay,
so if you thought you weren't cool enough to get in, you can just slip right in now.
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. Murph, take a peek at it. Let me just make sure. Right, I didn't misspell anything. Murph News.
Yeah, I think you got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where. So here's the contest rules. You got to take, if you're gonna tell your story on Instagram or X. Murph, are you even on X?
Is that the old Twitter?
Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on there. Yeah. And I think it's the same handle. I think it's the same handle.
So if you use Twitter or Instagram to tell your story, if you want to do it with a picture, you got to tag us in there, because otherwise, how in the hell are we going to know that you're making an entry into the contest? Yeah. Or just leave your story in the comments after this video, right? But that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to do the drawing on 24 August at 24 August 2024, and we're going to do it at 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time. And now we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but I want to get back up here. Okay, so Trazer bounced off. Tennessee was talking. All right, here's where we left off. Gene was saying, do it Saturday morning, chatting. It'll set up the time. That's going to be awesome. Now here, Tennessee, help me help you guys. So Tennessee apparently has already found the site. I just pulled it up and I didn't find it. So Tennessee, if you can put the actual site in there. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm throwing in one of the Babs. Murphy's going to do some of coffee.
I'll do 2 pounds of coffee.
Okay, 2 pounds of coffee. And then I'm going to I'll find Glass Beach, Tennessee. Help me help you. I'll find Glass Beach, and I'm going to get one of those traditional mugs that we're talking about. Because again, that picture I'm talking about, there was no handle. That, and you could just see they were so.
It's probably the same mug, yeah.
Yeah, I bet it is. So I think that is just badass right there. So that's what we'll do. So we'll do a mug from Glass Beach. Tennessee, help me out on that, right? If you're still watching, help me find that site. And Murph, if Tennessee doesn't get back to me, then you and I can just figure that out. I'll do that behind the scenes. All right, so that's it. That's our.
Hey, real quick, can I spring this on you? Yeah. Can I spring this on you?
Is that part of the giveaway?
No. I just got hell no. I just got this. I just got this knife in the mail. I just got it today. I carried it up here. I have not opened it. Can I open it real quick?
Hey, do it, because that's going to give me. Hang on, real quickly. Well, before you do it, Gene is saying black with 1 or no sugar. Yeah, see those English, they got to have a little sugar.
Yeah, well, that's why they lost.
Tennessee's laughing at something. I don't know what. And then she said she just sent me to mobile. So while you're showing that off, I'm going to pull this up and see if I can get this.
This is not a plug for Montana Knife Company. I have 3 of them now, but this is not a plug for them. It's called the Marshall. They're very hard to get. And when you do get them, I like the sticker. I'm a nerd for stickers. When you do get them, they may not always be what you want, but you can kind of go on the secondary market and trade them. But I think I'm a nerd that'll, I hang out in a knife shop a lot. They wrap it in like paracord or something to keep the paper on. And this thing is hideous. I will say this already. I can already see the color. Hold on. I dropped the packing card. They always include a card that says, I say always like I've been buying from them forever, but I've got 3 of them. Mac and Pox or Powix, I don't know. They tell you who packed your knife, who assembled it and all that stuff. So anyway, this thing's called the Marshall. This is technically their large field knife. See that blaze orange stripe?
So
the whole knife is coated in this coating. I'm going to strip it off. I'm going to take it down to the bare metal and I'm going to blend it back in because I can do that. But it comes with a really nice sheath, really nice Kydex sheath. This thing is hideous, but it's solid. I mean, this is a cool shape. It's going to be awesome for field use. I'm going to beat the shit out of this knife. Like it owes me money, and it's going to be fantastic. Yeah. So that's one of their Marshalls, they call it. And it's really looking forward to beating the shit out of this thing. Anyway, I just wanted to open it because I'm like, it's sitting there. It's driving me nuts. I've been looking at it the whole time. I was like, I want to do something with it. Yeah.
Yeah. On that, I'm not a big fan of that orange on the blade, but but Evan Siembida, and he's been on the podcast before. He's a great guy. He's a knife maker. So when you go back to where that tang goes back onto the handle, whether it's all the way back into the handle. Now turn it 90 degrees. So like that. So like he does little accents like that, on the back side, where between his mic card and stuff. And sometimes he even does those reflective. And that was actually part of our giveaway, was one of the knives that he made. So I like it there. But but what he does is very different. That actually, that's the whole blade all the way back there.
That's full on Cerakoting. There's a lot of guys.
And again, not picking on those guys. I'm just saying Evan does something really. I actually really like what Evan does with it, but
I need to actually really look at his knives. I know you've had him on, you've mentioned him, and every time I watch it, I'm like, that's something I'm going to remember to look up, and I never do. No disrespect to Evan, but it's just I'm always like listening to other stuff, and my brain's reeling while you're talking. I'm not a crazy guy about finger choils. I don't really care for them, so I usually grind that off. If it's me personally, I'll take that off myself. But I do want to take the coating off. I'll just do it with like citrus strip or clean strip or something. And I'll just take it down to bare steel and I'll etch it, treat it, and it'll be fine. But there's dudes that'll trade these things all day long for a black coated one. Essie Knives. You talked not long ago. I know we're running way over on time, but Essie Knives does they used to do one called Venom Green. And it was like Venom Green with like orange handles or something. Their idea was smart because they do a lot of jungle work. They do a lot of training with the agencies and stuff, and the bureau and all that stuff. They do a lot of stuff down there in the jungle, in the Amazon. And if you lose your knife, you may have just lost your life. So they do they call it Venom Green, but it's a high contrast with the jungle. It's going to stand out. And that's kind of, I think, the idea behind this, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would think that's as high vis, so you don't lose it. All right, so let's just hold off on the knife stuff for a second. I want to come back to that, and we have some comments for you. So just to kind of wrap up the giveaway, and also because I did find Glass Beach mugs now. So thank you, Tennessee. That I didn't even go to the link. I must have misspelled it or whatever, but I Googled it and I found it. So let me just bring up them real quickly. So here they are, Glass Beach mugs.
I didn't know they did compass.
No handle, no. There it is, USMC history. Yeah.
I didn't know they make compasses.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be cool. So, so it's got that background. See, that just ties into everything we're doing, especially for your daughter and the young Marines. So this has just even got as a better giveaway right there, and there's a bunch of that's World War I era, Marines, but There it is, made to last. Yeah,
Dude, that's a hand warmer and a half too.
Yeah, this is going to be badass. That's going to be cool. All right, so there it is on the giveaway.
Compass coffee. Okay.
So the Babs, the badass bag. So, you know, it has a shoulder strap. It's just tucked inside. So there's that. It's all in black. 2 pounds of coffee from Murph. Yep. And then I'm going to buy one of the, I'm probably going to buy 2 because I already know I'm going to want one. And so I'll have 2. So we'll give 1 mug away and then I'm going to have 1 for myself. And that's going to be the giveaway that we're doing. So you got to tell us your story. If you want to leave it in the comments on this video, fine, right? Or if you want to attach a picture, or if you want to use like, you know, Twitter, you know, X or Instagram, you got to tag at Murph Nuge. I already did it here. I'll just put it back up again. You got to tag Murph and you got to tag me, Centerline Systems. So, because otherwise, how in the hell will we ever see your entry? And then on the 24th of August at 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time, that's 10 in the morning, by the way, boys and girls, because 10 in the evening is 2200. Yep. There's 24 hours in a day. I don't know why that's hard for everybody, but hey, but now going into the knives, and then let's just wrap it up there. And who cares? Yeah, we're going a little bit long, but fun.
Yeah,
you know it is. So Tennessee says, Murphy, I just received a Rob Evans FTP knife, and then she followed it up with, he's a knife maker from the UK. Has anyone heard of him? Does that ring a bell or anything for you? And then she just gave a thumbs up. That was probably about the mug company. By the way, thank you, Tennessee, for that info. That helped me get there. So
thank you, because I would have forgotten to look that up for him later. Rob Evans, it does not, but that doesn't mean anything because there's so many knife makers out there, man. And there's, and I know Tennessee's a lady, but at the same time, it's like, man, there are so many knife makers out there. I don't know them all. I wish I did.
Yeah. Well, and then so just on that note from the knife side. So, okay. So this is one of Evan's, this is just a kitchen knife.
That's a, okay, cool.
And so Evan has, you know, there's ergonomics behind how he does his handle, but this is what I wanted you to see. Hopefully that'll, it's probably not showing up.
I can see the liners. I can see the liners.
He's doing liners in there. Yep. And some, so his stuff just looks so sexy. It's got such a nice feel to it. It's so ergonomic as far as, and it ain't dull. I'll tell you that, you know, it's one of those things where I'm already scared. Like I got to be careful, you know?
Well, that's the thing too.
That's my stupid thing is like sharp things always bite me no matter what I do. You know?
Dude. Yeah. We, Blade Show, everybody keeps Band-Aids at their table, or plasters or whatever. But there's, you know, I've been flipping this thing around because it's one of my favorite knives ever. It's modeled after a Marine Raider Bowie. And you probably can't see any of it, but it's
we can see pretty good.
It was actually patterned after an actual Marine Corps Raider Bowie that was in World War II. The handle was done by a hand surgeon, a friend of mine up in Michigan now. He used to be in Iowa, and he was the guy I told you about, average Iowa guy that used to do YouTube. He now lives in Michigan, and he's up around Ann Arbor, and he's getting ready to start his knife company back up. But dude, it's a hefty piece of steel. This thing's 1/4 inch ball bearing steel. I mean, it's fantastic, but I love that knife. I'm just a knife nerd. I've got hundreds of knives in this house. Like my daughter one day is going to be like, what the fuck am I going to do with all this?
Well, you know, as the knife nerd, seriously,
the British nail breaker from like 1942, Navy knife.
But I'm just telling you, if as the knife nerd, you really should.
I will look those up. I will.
You know, and like I follow him. If nothing else, just start looking at some of the stuff he's doing.
Is he on IG?
Yeah, I really like what he's doing with these liners. And so that knife you had, I just didn't. You know, that is the whole blade. You know, the tang coming down. That's all Cerakoted. But Evan does things with liners, and that's just really cool. So
I'm not crazy about the color. I really got it because that's the only release they were going to do for that model anymore at all. They were like, hey, this is it. And then they released a second batch one night and nobody knew about it. They were just like, hey, somebody came on either Reddit or Instagram or Facebook or something and said, hey, there's a second batch on there. If you guys haven't got one, they didn't announce it. Just get it. I got in on it and I'm like, shit, dude, I'll do it. I want that knife. And I'm like, I can instantly strip it. I can do a leather sheath for it. I'll do this stuff. I've got the knowledge. I'm just not great at it. And so how do you spell Evan? Is it Siembida?
No, it's Evan, Echo Victor Alpha November. And then his last name is pronounced Siembida, but it's spelled Siemba. So Sierra India Echo Mike Bravo India Delta Alpha Siembida.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And again, and if that doesn't work, you can just go into see who I follow. And here's the thing about all that bullshit. I barely ever see any of his posts anymore. Like, I don't, I barely, all I see is the bullshit I'm not interested in. But yeah, Evan Siembida, Siembida Custom Knives is his thing. Hey, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah,
We don't have to, but let's do. We're an hour and a half. But there's some questions coming in for you from Tennessee. So let me just bring up Tennessee.
I will answer them the best I can. If not, I'll make it up.
So Tennessee was talking about Evan. His knives are cool AF. And then she said, that's beautiful. When I showed off this knife, then she said to you, what you showed off, Murphy, she said, cool knife. And then here's what she wants to know from you. What is that gentleman's contact info for that Marine Raider kind of legacy type of thing?
It used to be under Versteeg Blades. It was like VS Kyle Versteeg, VERSTEEG. He's on Facebook with that handle, KR Versteeg. He is also under Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram in a DM and I'll give you his contact info. He's a good dude. He's average Iowa guy on YouTube. If you go on there, he's got some of his old knife making stuff. This knife is probably 7 or 8 years old at this point, but he's getting ready to open his knife shop back up now that he's good and established up there. And he moved from Iowa to Michigan. So, and I've spent a lot of time with that dude in the dirt down in Tennessee, and he is a solid motherfucker. Like he knows his stuff. He was on this show. I think I told you, Mark. Discovery Channel ran a show called it was something about the Amazon. It was Amazon Out of Hell, Amazon Hell, something. It was Mickey Grossman was the guy he was with. It was really cool. It's a cool show, but he was on there years ago and he came to camp talking about this thing. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Like, you didn't just come from the Amazon, you came from Iowa. And he's like, no, I was on this thing like a year or so ago, like back playing in the jungle. And then we all kind of like wrote him off. And then just right after I came back from Montana, right before the first podcast I did with you, the video I did with you, it aired. And it's on Amazon now. It's on, you can get it anywhere. But it's like, yeah, it's the Jaws of Hell or something. I don't know what the hell it's called. I'll send the link to you.
Yeah, please do.
But he was on that expedition from Peru on to somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to watch that. I'm sure And again, you send that to me if you don't forget, like you said, you were going to forget the other thing.
I'll write this down too.
We're going to forget Glass Beach. But if you do, then I'll actually put that I'll post that in here for people so people can see that as well. All right. Hey, we're at an hour and a half and, not trying to just wrap it up, but, look, it is what it is, boys and girls. And if you're still watching, hopefully you're enjoying yourself and you're having an adult beverage as well. But, and by the way, one more time, learn me something. Gosh, dang it, man. You did not have to do that, but we're going to pay it forward. Giveaway, coffee, a mug. We're paying it forward. So, and I'm going to share that Camus with, my good friends and relatives with some, really good animal flesh, over the fire. So that's just awesome on you. And one more time, just to let everybody know, that's going to be on Saturday, 24 August at 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time.
Yep.
Leave a comment here and tell your story, or do it on Instagram or Twitter, tag us in it. So, because otherwise, how in the hell will we ever see your story? But on that note, I just want to end it on this thing. So I have a cousin, who's spiritual, but maybe spiritual in a slightly different way. And I have no problem, I don't want to speak for her, I'm always hesitant. Like, I'm not that person, but I'm here to tell you one of the conversations, I've just loved talking to her. We have such great kind of spiritual, type of conversations. But to this whole point about the story about your best cup of coffee, this was years ago. I think I was had maybe been back from the agency for like 3 years, and her and I were talking about it one day. And, coffee is the one religion that all humans can agree upon. It doesn't matter if you're Buddhist, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Taoist, whatever. Coffee. If you enjoy coffee, it is part of your religion. It's part of your day-to-day grind. It is part of and then that just makes this whole thing, Murphy. That's why I loved it when you said, like, what is your best cup of coffee? Because for some of us, again, and for those guys with that, that Glass Beach mug, just been fished out of the drink, lucky to be alive. That was probably the most spiritual, awesome, sexual, however you want to phrase it, the best fucking cup of coffee they've ever had in their life, you know, for all kinds of other reasons. But it's that coffee. There is something about coffee that brings us together.
Yeah, it's communal. It's family. It's community. We've talked about this. I mean, there are so many things to it. It's a rite of passage in a lot of ways, right? For a lot of kids, a lot of people grow up seeing their parents drink it, their grandparents drink it, talking around the farm, maybe making the decisions of the day and making the big decisions around a table. They get, you know, for me at one point, I remember going to my grandparents, and there was a cup of coffee, and I probably had 90% milk and 10% coffee. Well, probably more like 5% coffee and 5% sugar. My great grandma would give it to me, and I would sit and drink that and felt like I was an adult hanging out, making decisions at the table. But all I was really drinking was milk with a tiny bit of coffee in it.
Yeah.
But it is a rite of passage. Like once you can have that cup of coffee or your first cup as a working man or woman, and you're like, man, this is what life is about. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to say it any more American it's not just American, obviously. It's not uniquely American, but it's such a part of the human experience. Coffee, whether you like it or not, it's a thing.
Yeah, it is. And here's Gene. I just got to throw this in there. Then let's wrap it up. And I'll throw the other comment in there, which is another reason we need to wrap it up. But Gene, do not get yourself arrested. Your country's going crazy right now. Like
that's hate speech, Gene.
What's that?
I said, that's hate speech, Gene.
Yeah, exactly. That's hate, Gene. Seriously, in your country, saying that you don't like tea could be construed as hate speech. Be careful, my good man. I love you. I don't want you to get in trouble, right? You know. But then here's Big Vis saying it has been a long podcast, but lots of cool topics. So hey,
sorry about that.
No, it's all good. I mean, you know, that's what we're trying to do here. But we had a lot to unpack here tonight. I mean, there was a lot of things going on. So yeah. All right, boys and girls, let's give Murph the last comment. I do just want to point out again, all the way back. Let's just kind of summarize real quickly. Readiness Training Group, they're doing that free training, starts tomorrow. Right now, when they were here at the beginning of the live stream, they're meeting their guest speaker, having dinner, and you know, and it's it's a mother of one of the children who died in Uvalde. I can't imagine. See, I'm almost tearing up. You think there's going to be a dry eye after she's done talking? You know, hell no. So that's awesome on their part. So they're kicking their free training, their school resource officer training tomorrow. Thank you to all the great men and women who bought tickets and helped us make a small contribution to make that a reality. So God bless each and every one of you. Then Murph and I, we're going to do something. We're trying to do something cool. Stay tuned. We'll have more information. We just have to work with Sean a little bit more, but we are going to do a charity auction. I'm going to look into the legacy camo. I mean, we really should just do the frog skin. I got to find that. We do that, and we'll probably do a rucksack, and that'll be part of that charity auction. And if you are watching this and if you believe in that type of stuff, repost this. Tag Tulsi Gabbard. Tag, no offense, sir, but tag Jack Carr. I'm just not familiar with that name.
And we say Tulsi because she's from Hawaii. She represents Hawaii, right? Yeah.
And just start calling these politicians out and make them help this out. You know, make this a reality for those kids, because that's a bucket list. That's an incredible moment that most people never get to experience. So, you know, that's just too awesome. And then our awesome giveaway, which totally just grew legs and had a life of its own here tonight, Murph. Like, you know, we were just going to do a giveaway, and then the whole coffee thing, it is a religion. And then
that's what happens, man, when you're riffing. I mean, awesome things come to fruition. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Last comments, and then we're going to let Murph take us out. So Tennessee, thanks so much, Murphy. And of course, Mark, our liege. Well, you know, if you're going to call me that, well, then, you know, well, yes, ma'am. I am your liege. Thank you for all you do. All right. That's too funny, Tennessee. Thank you. That was awesome. Gene, back to the comment we said, they can take me when they pry the mug from my cold, dead hands. Yeah. Coffee mug. You're absolutely right, Gene. But hey, man, just seriously, be safe over there. Your country's falling apart. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that just with utmost respect. But dude, people are being arrested for comments. I mean, that's just fucking wrong. Learn me something. Thanks, Mark and Murph. Really nice episode. Hey, learn me something. Maybe, you know, I'm not joking. I'm on my second cup, and Dude, this is some pretty good wine, my good man. It's going to taste really good with some spaghetti later. So thank you. Learn me something. Snowshoe Dave. Thanks, guys. Hey, John Dunphy's here, the accessorizer. John, where have you been? Oh, okay. Hey, fellas, just got off work. I'll watch later and give you a comment or two. John, this was a giveaway episode. All kinds of good things. Definitely watch it. And I think you're going to groove on it as well. So thanks for jumping in at the end here, John. See, Murph, it's a good thing we went late because otherwise John wouldn't have made it here in time, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right, Murph, take us on up. Wrap it up. Man, give us some words of wisdom, whatever you want to do.
I don't have a whole lot of wisdom. You know this at this point. But I do appreciate it. This is my third time on. We've talked many hours between the two of us. And I just appreciate the opportunity. The fact that anybody finds value in anything I say is amazing to me and everybody around me. But thank you. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully I can help somebody somewhere. That's it.
Well, we're doing it, and we're going to try to help those kids get their asses over to Honolulu. You know,
thank you.
That'll be cool. That'll be great. So, all right, boys and girls. Hey, take your hats off or raise your cup to Murph, taking the time away from his family and his life to hang out with us knuckleheads and share some things. Again, we got some cool things coming. RTG's doing some great things this weekend. And again, so hats off to you guys for even supporting that, you know. And if you still want to support it, you can still go to their website, make a donation, you know, rewind. You can buy a t-shirt. I mean, they're doing good things. You know, the charity auction, Murph and I will work on that. So just stay tuned. We'll have more information coming out soon. But then the first thing, the right here, right now in front of you, giving away a Babs, 2 pounds of coffee, and then I'm going to give away one. I'll buy a cup from the Glass Beach Mug Company. But tell us your story. Leave it in a comment on this video, not in a lot, you know, or tag us in on Instagram or Twitter and tell your story there. But yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to that, Murph. I think this might be really hard. I mean, how, you know, we're gonna have to talk offline. How are we?
Hey, make sure it's a story that we can read online, because we're gonna have to read the favorite comment. If you want to as well. I don't know how we can do this, but you know, I'm a big fan of like voice message things. If you say, hey, this is how I want to do it, you can do dictate to voice or dictate to text, or you can even say, hey, I want to send it to you or me through a voice message. And then we can transcribe it or something. But because there's people out there that maybe don't like to sit and type all that, or don't like to write it all, and maybe they just want to just say it. And you can do that on Instagram as well, and probably Facebook too, I think.
Well, I mean, most devices will let you actually do that.
Yeah.
That voice to text. So yeah, so that's another option to do it, or, you know, and then just put it as a, you know, a sound file and just, you know, send it to us in an email or something like that. But definitely, let's have some fun with this. It's a good giveaway. It's going to be kick ass, and I'm here to tell you, I'm so looking forward to hearing some stories about people's best cup of coffee. That was all Murph's idea, and that's a damn good. What was your best cup of coffee? That's a great story right there.
I love it. It's one of my favorite questions to ask anybody. If I meet the Pope tomorrow, I don't know why he'd want to meet me, but if I did, it's one I'm going to ask him.
Yeah. So when St. Peter starts asking you questions, you're like, hey, St. Peter, what was your best cup of coffee?
Yeah. Hey, dickhead, turnabout's fair play. What do you got? I'm not going to call St. Peter dickhead because I went in those gates, but yeah.
All right, everybody. Hey, Murph, you know the deal. Hang on just a quick second. Everybody else, reach out anytime if you got questions, comments. You know the deal. You know, I'll do the best I can to help you out. We're not. So I just got to throw this out there, and you can see me smiling. The website is, it's kind of shut down. You can still do the belts. I have to leave that part open for Jack for Black Scout. But, you know, you'll see me starting, you know, everything's out there. I'm starting to create the website. It's going to take a little bit of time where it's going to restructure. But I just want to say, like, you know, somebody said, you know, hey, so when you guys are taking time off, I'm like, dude, I'm working 6 days a week, 12 to 14. I'm like, that is not taking time off, mofo. I mean, like, so, you know, I just had to throw that out there because it was just funny. Somebody said it the other day, like, hey, so while you guys are taking some time off, I'm like, time off? I'm a small business owner, dude. I don't get time off. You know, this right here is my time off. So thank you to everybody for joining us on my time off here, and hope you have a great upcoming weekend. We'll see you next Thursday. We'll have more information. I didn't do a very good job on social media this week. I'll get back on it next week. I'll do some posts talking about this and keeping this momentum going and reminding everybody about the contest and X, Y, and Z. And we'll have some updates from RTG regarding how their training event went this week. And Tennessee, I'm not going to, everybody can see it, but Tennessee, your 2 items are part of the last work orders, but they're, but you know the deal. They're going to be a little bit delayed because we're waiting on Cerakoting those plastics for you. So yeah, shoulder strap, because there's your mother and your G3. So we still have to talk a little bit anyway. Blake doesn't get back until I think Sunday. So, and we're first in the queue next week for him. So yeah, so I probably still need another week or 2 before I can even complete your other products. So we'll talk offline, Tennessee. Murph, any last comments? You want to show off that kick-ass hat one more time? Because I do like that pattern.
Sure. Yeah, it's totally made in the United States as well. I don't know how I could probably get this back up. There you go. About that.
Yeah. I think that's what we're going to do, boys and girls. Yeah. We're going to probably do that
in the United States. Yep. Actually, it should be this way. But yeah, totally great hat.
Hey, if you don't mind, because I don't. Well, did you send me the name of that company?
But I can tell you. Yeah,
it's because I'm
Sure.
looking at doing a run of hats, and so I'm still.
Okay.
I've been gathering some information from some other companies I didn't know about. So yeah, maybe
Gotcha.
I'll be reaching out to those guys.
And I have been to this place personally. They're good dudes.
All right, I like it. All right, everybody, that's an hour and 45 minutes. That's probably our longest Centerline live that we've done, but it is what it is. Here we go. Last comment. Gene always reminds me of Audie Murphy. Audie, not Aldi, but Audie Murphy. I know who you're talking about. That pattern. Because, by the way, and Gene's right. That wasn't only for the Marine Corps. There was actually Army units that wore that as well. Matter of fact, some Army units at D-Day at Normandy were wearing that pattern as well. So,
and there were Marines in Normandy. A handful.
A handful.
I'm just telling you they were there. It only took a handful of us. It took like thousands of you guys.
There it is, boys and girls. You had to end it on something fun like that. So
yeah, I got to give you some shit.
Thank you everybody for watching. I know this was long, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for all the comments. Thanks for watching. I really hope everybody wants to jump in and have some fun with this giveaway. And we'll be having Murph back on here again real soon. And stay tuned for that charity auction. That'll be happening here within the next week or 2 as well. So if you got questions, comments, even if they're for Murph, if you don't know how to get in touch with them, reach out to me. I'll put you guys in contact. But
hit me up.
Yeah. Until then, you know the deal, boys and girls. Everybody just keep thinking, keep moving, and never quit. Here we go, Gene. All right, everybody, be good. Woo!